What is up, gamers? The Red Dragon here, and we are covering the top stories on VGM. Now, a few weeks ago, there was an image that was circulating around with a PlayStation 4 with a red line on it. And a lot of people nicknamed this the Red Line of Death. And it was a picture of a PlayStation 4 inside a closed case. And of course, if you put something in a closed case, there's no air circulation, so it's going to overheat. So a lot of people said, you know, this is either fake or it's just a warning system if the system starts to overheat. But, you know, this started circulating around, it was picking up traction, and somebody asked Yoshida, is the Red Line of Death on the PS4 true? And Yoshida says, not true. And so a lot of people said, well, that proves it. That was a fake. That was a fake image, wasn't true. But it turns out that now that the PlayStation 4 has been released, there are several people who are reporting that they are having this red line come on and their system shuts down. And a lot of people are saying it's happening within like the first 30 minutes usually of them actually turning on their console. Now, it's unclear what is causing this problem. Is it a hardware issue or is it a software issue? We're not really sure yet. There's just videos out there that are starting to pop up. There's also a lot of people who are commenting that it's happening, but of course you can't verify that, so I only stuck with the video proof. But I do want to note that anytime that you have a large production of electronics, you are going to get faulty products. It's going to happen with the Xbox, it's going to happen with every electronic that you buy. The question is, how big is the problem? How widespread is it? Now, before the PlayStation 4 released, there were already several in circulation. Sony told IGN that only 0.4% of the items shipped were having problems. At least that's what they were reporting. Now, whether or not this number has increased since the actual launch and more people are out there, we don't know yet. This was the number put out yesterday. They said 0.4% of the units are faulty. And I do want to make clear that this problem may not be a hardware issue, but it may be indeed a firmware issue. So EA has just announced that they just put out an official statement saying the following about the PS4 1.50 update that you have to update in order to get a lot of the different features. Here's what they said. They said Sony has released a firmware update for the PlayStation 4 that is required for many features on the console. However, this update has also resulted in stability issues while playing games on the system. This affects all games on the PlayStation 4, including EA titles, causing crashing, freezing, and non-responsive connections between the player's console and their TV screen. Unfortunately, since it's an issue with Sony's firmware, it requires a new update to fix it. So apparently the firmware update is causing issues with some players. Now, a lot of players aren't having these issues because they're playing just fine, but there are beginning to be reports more and more of people experiencing these issues. So if you get a PlayStation 4, maybe you don't update the firmware just yet. I don't really know. But if you're having this issue, you're gonna have to call Sony. I know they're sending out several boxes to a lot of these people in order to ship them a new console. But again, I don't think this is anything to maybe worry or panic about just yet. Like, I think we were one of the first news sites to actually post this up, and I haven't seen it on the mainstream media just yet. I'm not saying that it won't be there, but again, this may be something that is very isolated. Of course, now more people have YouTube and capabilities to get that information out there, so you may be hearing more about it, and it doesn't necessarily mean that that's a huge widespread problem. But regardless, we do hope that it certainly gets fixed, because you don't want to wish that on anybody, especially when you've saved up for so long, you've been waiting for the console, you get home, you plug it in, and it don't work. That sucks, and you don't want it to happen on your console, and so you shouldn't want it to happen on anybody else's console, no matter what console they selected. So that does it for me, The Red Dragon. Stay tuned to VGM for your latest news and updates, and I will update the story as we hear more information. Thanks for watching.